Hello, sysfailure here again. Welcome to part 6 of my Redstone Basics series. As mentioned in 3, 4 and 5, all this area here, which you can see on the map, I did shoot as one episode and it came into 45 minutes of solid information. So I'm reshooting them for you in different sections just so it's a bit easier on you. This is our final episode in this section, and we're going to be talking about pulses. Now, all the various things you've seen previously, the pulses that go through them come in all sorts of different lengths. So you've got some short ones, some long ones, and you can sort of mess around with them. Buttons give pulses, stone buttons give a shorter one than wooden buttons, and in the case of stuff like levers, it gives continuous power. However, you can still turn levers and pressure plates, etc., into shortened pulses if you wish. Now, you may recognize this little assembly here from the T flip-flop in the previous episode. So what it's doing is it's bringing the power in here, it's causing the power to go out the other side and make the piston go up at the same time. That giving us a 1-tick pulse on the output. So if we just do that, our output is only pulsed for 1 tick, which has pushed the block up and left it there. Turning it off has no effect, and turning it on makes it do it again. Now I have several of them here as I want to explain something a little unusual in some of the components of Redstone. So this one here looks identical to this one here, except it has a comparator. If I flick the lever, no output. Do it again, no output. Comparators will not respond to this type of switch. But there is definitely power going through. If we flick this one, you notice it went straight into the piston accepted it and pushed the block. This also affects redstone dust. Now, this particular bit doesn't always seem to be 100% accurate. When I originally built this, I sometimes did see an output fire. But where it is now, it doesn't. So that's can be a little unreliable. If I just... There we go, nothing. And if we just get in position, watch the wire on the side of the screen there. The wire is definitely receiving something and flicking on, but it doesn't manage to make it to the piston, so the piston doesn't respond. So in the case of these, only repeaters work and wire sometimes does, but running directly into the piston's fine as well. I've got these little ones set up down here, as these are also pulse limiters I sometimes use. These are quite good for starting certain types of clocks if you want to get a specific length of pulse in, and for disabling them as well. So your pulse would go in here into that and then would run around the clock, and this would become part of the clock. So it'll go round and round and round, and then when you turn this off it would disable the clock. So they're quite useful for that. But that's not what we're here for. If you have a look here, this is set to 1 tick, and this is also set to 1 tick. So that means that that and that get powered at the same time, so they should pretty much immediately lose connection. If we do that, there you go. Has no effect, that doesn't go up. But if I put this 1 tick later, so 1 tick pulse gets through there. There you go, that's clearly a 1 tick pulse as it's pushed it up. And got it back again. So that's quite clear that we're putting 1 tick through there. Switch it to basically 0, nothing. This one's 0 as well. So the same? No. We're getting 1 tick pulses out of it. And that's with a repeater on the other side. If I switch this and make it 1 tick longer, do we get a 2 tick pulse? No, we still get a 1 tick pulse. So repeaters are a little bit odd in that situation. They will accept that moving and receiving power at the same time as a perfectly valid input. So it's a little odd. The comparator yet again, try them on the same, nothing. Move it out by 1, you get a 1 tick pulse. I taking some time going through these, explaining that, just because you may well encounter this oddity, and I'm not 100% sure why it exists. It's existed for quite a long time, even before the Redstone update with a fix an awful lot of things. But it is there, so that's important to remember. What's sort of interesting, if I remember rightly, hang on, it's, nope, wanted one of them. If I put that there, and that there, and that. Whoops. No. Let's try building it in the correct place, shall we? Excuse me a second. It also won't accept that repeater giving that pulse either. We stick another repeater in place, it will do it. So as I said, repeaters are a little bit bizarre in that respect. So important point to remember. Now, we're going to look at, as we've looked at pulse limiting, we're going to look at the extension of pulses. So this is a pulse sustainer, fairly standard. So what we have here is our button obviously has a certain length pulse, so that's off now. Comes through here, 1 tick delay, and straight into there. So that's then powered for that length of time. Over here, this part takes 8 ticks to get through, so it arrives 7 ticks after this. And it also means that it depowers 7 ticks after that. So that's adding another 7 ticks to the length. So if we push the button, button's off, and then that goes off. So that means it comes on near instantly because of this, but it's delayed turning off because of this one. Another little way you can do it, I mentioned in regards to clocks, fader clocks. They're based on the fader loop, which can also be extended. Simplest fader loop here is just running out there, reducing 1 on the way in there, reducing 1 there. It goes round and round until it runs out. So, push a button. It takes time. Press button, off, down. Even levers, same effect. There you go. You can extend them out, and if you put blocks in the gap like this, it actually makes it last even longer, as there is no signal loss there, 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 or there, as that's directly powered from there. The only signal loss in this one is at that point there. And every one of these is delaying by a tick. So if we turn it on, turned on fairly quick because it's only going to go up there. But turn it off, and there's now distinctly no power in this system. And it's taking absolutely ages to shut down. There we go. So that's a lovely little way of adding an awful lot of delay after you've activated something and deactivated it without taking up a whole load of space. So definitely a lovely little thing. Doing that sort of stuff previously was a lot more complex. You had to do stuff like this and bigger. That's nice and neat, really. So there are some great uses to the comparators. Just going to look at the bits over here with pulse generation, detection, and then we'll have a look at these as our final part. So, pulse generator, same as our limiters over there. Let's just turn our input off, sorry, on, and we get a pulse. Just like a little pulse limiter. This one works on the principle of here, when I do that, both of these have a delay so that gets turned off after this loop. Very similar to what's over there in a way. just do that. That powers this before that can turn off. Therefore, this never turns on. That is now off, which makes that go on. And then this loop turns it off again. So that gets our pulse. Just hop down here and look at the length of it. There you go. Make these shorter. We can give ourselves different length pulse. And back again. Now, in some circuits you build, you'll also want to detect the length of pulses. This little thing here, in the simplest form, is our AND gate. So obviously, if this is powered and this is powered, it will allow an output. But one side has a delay on it. So that requires our input to be working longer than that takes to get there, as if that doesn't, on the way to there, this will turn off and you won't get A and B active. Press the stone button here. You will see, if you watch the torches, they're never off at the same time, so we're not getting an output. However, a wooden button has a longer pulse than a stone button. I think it's about 50% longer or something. So if I press the wooden one, hang on, there we go. So, Minecraft's a bit glitchy sometimes. It's just long enough I can activate the AND gate and get a pulse at the end of it. You can also do the opposite with something like this, yet again, our AND gate, and it's just working with an inverter over here. So if I was to do a long pulse, no effect, something short, and it gets detected. So they're useful little things as well. So that's pulses and limiting them and sustaining them and detecting different lengths. And the final part of detection of pulses is there are 3 points that can actually be detected. There's what is known as the rising edge, and what that is at the detection of the turning on of a signal. So this one goes on, I get an output, which is just running through our little repeater here, although that could be dust. Along through here, and then gets cut off at that point. Turning it off, it can't tell that that's happened. So on, and nothing on the off. The opposite is the falling edge detector, and that's the detection of a signal dying, basically. So if I turn it on, you see it doesn't do anything. Now we just got a little repeater on 2 ticks over here, so that this works. As I said before, feel free to build these and so you figure out some of the bits yourself. But if I turn it off, I get a signal. On, nothing, off, signal. So that's good for detecting the state. And the final part is the zero crossing detector. And that basically detects when a signal goes on and when a signal goes off. So I turn it on. I'm going to pulse out the end of it, 1 tick in this case. Turn it off, and it detects again. So that's your 3 sort of ways of detecting. A lot of circuits work on sort of one of these, a rising or a falling. And a lot of the gates and stuff I showed in previous episodes can be built in different ways so that they work on a rising edge or a falling edge, for example. But that is pretty much it for this area. So this area has been covered in episodes 3, 4, 5, and 6. As previously, all the world download, including all the stuff that's over there, is in the description. The description on previous videos will all be updated to have that world download as well. And if you've missed previous episodes, there is a playlist of all of these that you can go watch. But that's about it. We still haven't covered buds. There will be another episode on buds. I thought this was probably a bit heavy for the moment as it was, so we'll leave that for later. But yeah, so that's about it. I hope you've been enjoying the series, and feel free to leave your comments below. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.